Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Prescribed Duties for Mankind, Chapter 19. And we are reading verses 19 through 25. Does the verse 25 have, oh, thank you. That doesn't have that. So I'll chant the Sanskrit or verses 19 to 24, and then we can chant 25 together because that's the one with the purple. Vishnurvratam idam bibram na vihanti katanchana vipran striyo viravati sraganda balimandane archedahar ahar bhaktya devam niyamam asita udvasya devam svedhamni niveditam agrata adyat atma visudyartam sarvakama samrade. Translation: one should accept this Vishnu Vrata, which is a vow in devotional service, and should not deviate from its execution to engage in anything else. By offering the remnants of prasada, flower garlands, sandalwood, pulp, and ornaments, one should daily worship the Brahmanas and worship women who peacefully live with their husbands and children. Every day, the wife must continue following the regulative principle to worship Lord Vishnu with great devotion. Thereafter, Lord Vishnu should be laid in his bed, and then one should take prasada. In this way, husband and wife will be purified and will have all their desires fulfilled. This is verse 21. Etena puja vidina masan dvadasa hayanam nitvato paramet sadvi kartike charamehani. Translation. The chaste wife must perform such devotional service continuously for 1 year. After 1 year passes, she should fast on the full moon day in the month of Kartika, October, November. Sobhute pa upaprisya Krishnam abhyarchya purvatat payasritena juhuyach charuna sahasarpisa pakayakya vidanena dvadasai vahutipati. Translation. On the morning of the next day, one should wash oneself, and after worshipping Lord Krishna as before, one should cook as one cooks for festivals, as stated in Grihya Sutras. Sweet rice should be cooked with ghee, and with this preparation, the husband should offer oblations to the fire 12 times. Asisa sirasadaya dvijay pritai samirata pranamya sirasa bhaktya Bunjita tanu tad anunjaya. Thereafter he should satisfy the brahmanas. When the satisfied brahmanas bestow their blessings, he should devotedly offer them respectful obeisances with his head, and with their permission he should take prasada. Acharyam agrata kritva vagyata sa bandhubi tadyad patnyai charosesam suprajastvam susaubhagam. Before taking his meal, the husband must first seat the acharya comfortably and along with his relatives and friends should control his speech and offer prasada to the guru. Then the wife should eat the remnants of the oblations of sweet rice cooked with ghee. Eating the remnants ensures a learned, devoted son and all good fortune. Verse 25. If you have book, you can, we can do this call and response. Etach charvita, etach charvita, vidivad vratam vibor. Adbhis siddhartham labate puman iha. Stri chaitad astya labate saubhagam. Striyam prajam jivapatim yasogriham. Etad synonyms we chant. Etad, this. Charitva, performing. Vidivat, according to the injunctions of Shastra. Vratam, Wow. Vibho from the Lord. Abhipsita, desired. Artham, object. Labate, gets. Human, a man. Iha, in this life. Stri, a woman. Cha, and. Etat, this. Astaya, performing. Labate, can get. Saubhagam, good fortune. Sriyam, opulence. Rajam, progeny. Jivapatim, a husband with a long duration of life. Yasa, good reputation. Griham, home. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Purport. In Bengal, even today, if a woman lives for a long time with her husband, she is considered very fortunate. Meaning, if the husband doesn't die before the wife, not not in American sense. A woman generally desires a good husband, good children, good home, prosperity, opulence, and so on. As recommended in this verse, a woman will receive all these desirable benedictions, and the man will also be able to receive all benedictions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, by performing this particular type of vrata, a man and woman in Krishna consciousness will be happy in this material world. And because of being Krishna conscious, they will be promoted to the spiritual world. Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Devamrita Swaminiti Namane. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve. गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवंत हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. So you can, like, Devamrita Maharaj would often explain, we don't have nowadays the real human society, and what to speak of anything else. People have no understanding of what is piety and chastity. You know, uh, like religion is dead around the world. The churches, like, are abandoned all over the world. The churches in the cities, they make more money from letting people park in their parking lots because they happen to be in the city, and a lot of you know people need to park, so they make money that way. And the congregation, they don't make any more congregation. One time one of our devotees went to an interfaith conference in LA, and he was mentioning how the children sometimes in the Hare Krishna community, they're playing, making a lot of noises with their skateboard. And one of the priests said, "You're lucky you have that age in your community, because the youngest member of our community is 70 years old. So, people don't go anywhere to this religious places. And even if they do, nobody gets along. The philosophy is like, I don't, like nobody agrees with nobody. It's same book. You read the same book, but the tendency in Kali Yuga is like quarrel. Like I don't need to go to church. I can have my own relationship with Christ. I'll be the pastor. I'll be the minister. I'll be the one. I'll start my own, especially in Georgia. Everybody have their own Bibles, church status, and 501(c)(3), and they're everybody's doing their thing. So it's very complicated times. Like the Amrit Maharaj would often quote this Chinese proverb. There's a saying in Chinese that it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. It goes like this: it's may you live in interesting times. So we live in a time where it's very superficial. People's understanding of relationship, you know, economic development, and people's idea of diet, and what's success. Everything is topsy-turvy. Uttanapada. Uttanapada means the feet up and the head down. Usually, you're supposed to be feet down and head up. So we live in very confusing time. And Srila Prabhupada is so expert. You know, he's presenting the Shastra, he's giving, as it is, like the vratas and the benedictions and the way it's performed is giving us. But at the same time, when he was teaching, here is uh, a sadhu from Vrindavan. He comes to America and he's studying the people. Like what he never met an American in his whole life. Imagine trying to show compassion to a race of people that you never even met before. Generally, love thy neighbor means if they're like our color or financial status, they go to our same church, and the children are same age, but then we'll eat all the animals. But this concept of love thy neighbor, meaning like left everything behind. Can you imagine going to another suburb without a credit card or some cash or something? Like we're like always checking, do I have my credit card? Do I have my Apple card in my phone or some form of security? Nothing, just hopped on a dilapidated cargo ship. Devotees went to buy that Jaladuta, but they already scraped it. It was so bad that they destroyed it. The devotees couldn't buy it. I just hopped in a boat and cargo ship and just sailed to go and help people. And very culture shock, big time. The lady Sally Agarwal here in Butler, Pennsylvania. She was showing Srila Prabhupada what is a washing machine. And Prabhupada saw it with great amazement and said, this is all simply illusion. And Prabhupada filled up his bucket. He didn't use the shower. He poured water all over himself in the bathroom, and it got wet everywhere, but he just came out drying himself. And You cook for the whole family. They had meat and stuff in the refrigerator. Oh, Prabhupada was so broad-minded, like he had a big vision, trying to help whatever it takes to please his spiritual master who's teaching. Many people he gave sannyas to, they couldn't maintain their sannyas vows. They were very young and a lot of temptations. Many of them look like demigods. Laguna Beach and Maui. These were all like young boys and girls coming from this kind of a neighborhood. Blonde hair and suntan and billabong, you know, shades and so Prabhupada's teaching them you're not the body, but many times, they were not able to keep the sannyas vows. And Prabhupada said, never mind, he would perform their weddings himself. And Prabhupada was uh, teaching very this elaborate sacrifices we're reading about. In an essence, Prabhupada taught us that, taught his disciples that how to receive the same benefits in a very practical, easy to perform ways. Rupa Goswami talks about 64, items of devotional service. 64. And Prabhupada gave us like 5 of those. And Prabhupada said, you follow this 5, which is like the essence of the 64, and you can be successful. Anybody remember those 5? Chant Hare Krishna? Huh? Yes. So you said chanting Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, let's see if the younger ones have anything to add. Live in a holy place. Huh? Associate with devotees. And there's one more. She's right behind you guys. Worshipping Tulsi. So Srila Prabhupada gave us this essentially in the morning program. He packed this in, all this process, very powerful. Srila Prabhupada said if we do this, we can make, you know, spiritual advancement. Like Gopal Krishna Maharaj, when he was a householder, he had a big position in a Coca-Cola company. He will come in his, work attire, formal clothes, attend full morning program, and then he'll go to work. And the devotees kept preaching to him, like, "What are you doing? This is Maya." And Prabhupada heard about it and said, "Don't discourage him to, like stop work." Even Ambarish, this Prabhu, that's grandson of the Ford company, he was assisting Giriraj Maharaj back in the day in Bombay to collect funds. They would go to make life membership. Because the Americans, the wealthy Indians took them seriously. They were welcome, even, compared to their wealth. Even the richest Indian didn't have any wealth. So they were welcome everywhere. They will go to these big people's places. And back in the day, you know, they would take buses, like crowded buses. And Ambarish Prabhu would ask Giriraj Maharaj, can we take it like a cab or something? And Giriraj Maharaj, brahmachari, they were all young at that time. They were like, no, 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 we don't waste Krishna's money, Prabhu. This is Maya. And then it's so hot, Indian heat. Ambarish Prabhu would say, can I get like something to drink, like coconut or no, Prabhu, this every penny, belongs to Prabhupada. And every farthing he can buy a brick. So, they were like living so austere. Imagine how wealthy Giriraj Maharaj is and how wealthy Ambarish is. But they would go. Prabhupada told them, they asked Prabhupada, like, what do we say to these people? So tell them you have all this Krishna's money. If you don't give some back, you will go to hell. So they will go and repeat that to all the wealthy people, and they will bring big checks. They had the purity. And when Ambarish Prabhu wanted to like transition from brahmacharya to family life, Srila Prabhupada told him you should get a job and you should show the world what it is like to have family, have a job, and have strict sadhana. We need because like Guru Maharaj Devamrita Maharaj was explaining yesterday. 99% of the devotees lived in the ashram back then. If you lived outside, it's considered Maya. So Prabhupada told him, okay, be the example, show by your example. And Ambarish Prabhu humbly asked him, is that okay if I work, go back to my factory? Like, of course, Prabhupada asked him to get a job, but, they have the Ford motors. And he asked Prabhupada, can I go back to my factory? And Prabhupada said, yeah, show by example. And Prabhupada was always broad-minded. He loved his Grihastha disciples as much as he loved this sannyas disciple. One time I was giving a class, and in my class was this Mataji. I didn't know who she was. And then at the end, she came to me and she's like, oh, Prabhupada would have been so happy to, see you speak or something like that. I said, sorry, Mataji, what is your name? And she said, I'm Govinda Dasi. I said, you are the Govinda Dasi. Prabhupada writes about her in Srimad Bhagavatam for growing first Tulsi, and she was Prabhupada's servant, and her husband, Guru Sundar. And her husband left Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada said he was suffering from over intelligence. Sometimes we think we are so smart, smarter than the guru sometimes. And she was like, I'm Govinda Dasi. And then she said, you know, Srila Prabhupada loved us, but he loved his Indian boys. Back in the day, there were not many. They were like handful. Now it's a lot of Indian boys and girls. Prabhupada's desire, whatever the pure devotee desire. Back then, Prabhupada was preaching in India 50 years. He had one so-called disciple that came to the dock to see him off when he was boarding the Jaladuta. But he was not committed. After preaching 50 years, he had one disciple. But when the devotees like started coming, like Bhakti Charu Maharaj, Subhag Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Navayogendra Maharaj, all this sannyasis started, devotees started coming. Prabhupada was very happy to see. Because Prabhupada would go to his parents, and you have so many children. Give me one of them. I'll train them in Krishna consciousness. Oh, no, no, Swamiji. Like, my son is meant for economic development. Nowadays we say IT, but back then, and they wouldn't give him. Like one time, Devamrita Maharaj came to lunch at our place. My mom cooked for him, and then after serving him nice feast, Maharaj was relaxing, like thinking for a second. And my mother said, "Oh, anything else I can offer you, Maharaj, Guru Maharaj." And he's like, "Yes, let your son be a brahmachari." And she almost was not expecting that. And Maharaj said to her, "Don't be selfish. He's meant for Krishna." And she's like, can process this. And she said, "No, no, he's already a brahmachari." And Maharaj said, being single doesn't mean brahmachari. He needs training. He doesn't have any training. And she was protesting. She said, "What about my gotra? What about my lineage?" Like, said, "Have them from your daughters. Have the children. Let him be a." And she said, "He never listens to me the whole life, but somehow he listens to you. You're the first person he listens to. So whatever you say, he will do it anyway. So it's irrelevant what I say." And he said, "No, he still needs your blessings." So Prabhupada would go everywhere and they wouldn't give them their son. But then when this young boys started coming, like Bhakti Charu Maharaj, when he met Prabhupada, he was, you know, he said to Prabhupada, just to show him how he's already spiritual, he said, "Oh, I go to Ramakrishna mission." And Prabhupada hated this group, of course, on a transcendental level. And Prabhupada told Maharaj, our devotees don't even go to their ashram to pass stool. Like we don't even enter their building. So many, Prabhupada loved all his disciples in different ways. Doesn't matter who they were, whether they were young girls or devotee children or sannyasis or brahmacharis. But Prabhupada and the acharyas can foresee the future that mostly our society, there'll be very few individuals that are so dedicated they can live in a temple and dedicate their life. Mostly, people will be outside, have their apartment and family and like that. So, those who were married, Prabhupada was very kind to them. Even Prabhupada's secretary, Sruta Kirti Prabhu, he got married and he had a child. And Prabhupada gave the $20 because it's a custom. Like whenever I take Danya on books, this older Indian people will come and give her $20, $50. I can get $5 for a Gita, but she will get all these big donations, which is helpful for, you know, paying for the books. Anyway, Prabhupada gave him $20 and this is for your child. And Sutta Kirti Prabhu said, "No, no, I can't accept. We can't accept this, you know, from the spiritual master." And Prabhupada told him, "I'm not the spiritual master of your child. I'm the spiritual master of you. But your child can accept." So Prabhupada was very encouraging. There are some instances where Srila Prabhupada said 20 minutes if we are married, for example. Nowadays, even husband and wife are working. It's no more like 9 to 5 jobs. It's more like 9 to 9 jobs, 6 days a week, or even in Bangalore, they have buses fully equipped with internet and laptops. So because of the traffic, you log in the moment you go in the bus and you start working. You're already programming as you're stuck in traffic. Because that way, like, you put in like 2 hours of work. So it's not a 9 to 9 jobs and very pressed for time. Prabhupada actually said in one instance that the disease of a modern man is no time, no time. I was There was one family I was cultivating, and they had a 5 year, 6 year old daughter. I was telling her like, Sweta, do you chant? I said, oh, no, no time, Prabhu. So this is fully entangled, like beginning, from 5, 6 years old. So Srila Prabhupada gave direction. At least husband and wife come together every day and spend 20 minutes. Sounds like nothing, right? But try doing it every day, no matter how tired you are. It's it's a it's a big deal. Like you come together, husband, wife, children, and you read a verse from the Gita or Bhagavatam, you read the purport, and you hold a little kirtan and arati. It takes about 20 minutes, but it's difficult to do it consistently because we feel like, oh, what is 20 minutes going to do? Today I was so boring, or today my health is not good. I just don't feel like it. But if we can do it, especially, the prescription Srila Prabhupada gave for the householders is like, the morning program. We should chant at some point while we're worshiping deities or cooking or something like that. We should chant all the prayers from the morning program. If we can do that, come together as family, hold kirtan little bit, and do service of holding program. Prabhupada was very interested in that devotees don't keep it to themselves, that share you share Krishna consciousness. You hold at least some program once a week or twice a week, like distributing books, uh, giving donations, like this, practicing chant Hare Krishna and teach others those Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prescription. Jiva Doya Krishna Nam Sarva Dharma Sat. The essence of all the Vedic scriptures is showing mercy to conditioned souls and chanting Hare Krishna. So this way, uh, we can make nice spiritual advance by following the regulative principles. It keeps the wood dry. Like you can light wet wood, it'll be smoke. But if the wood or hay or grass is dry, then it can be like you know, it's a relationship. If we break any of the principles, it affects our relationship with Krishna. It's hard for Krishna and the spiritual master to take us seriously if we are keep moistening the wood, if we keep behaving in ways that are like inconsistent. Like I'm trying to follow this diet, keto diet, and one of the things the professionals, the pros, the advice is don't cheat, because all it takes is 3 tablespoons of oatmeal to kick you out of your ketosis. You may think it's an innocent thing, but when you're so carefully following, they're saying if you really want to see the benefit, be strict, don't cheat. Otherwise, you're only cheating yourself and you feel really bad. Like, feel bad, like intelligence wise. Why, why, why are we going through this beads 1700 times and all these things? And there's like a big hole where everything is gushing out. So that's why So Prabhupada kept insisting, like, don't cheat, because you can't cheat Krishna. You're cheating yourself. So Prabhupada said, follow the regulative principles, live like a lady and gentleman. Prabhupada would often say, if you can be a brahmachari or, you know, this kind of temple situation, you can marry and uh, live like lady and gentleman and chant Hare Krishna with your family and distribute prasadam. There's this process. It's very simplified. Many of our acharyas, they were teaching that out of the 12 mahajans, six of them were grihasthas and six of them were brahmacharis. If you can do it, that's the best ashram. Brihad Vrata, the cheapest ashram as well. But if not, then it's no problem because they say in spiritual life, 1 plus 1 is 11. If we have a devoted wife that can support spreading Krishna consciousness, then it's a very powerful thing. Can bring in a lot of people. Because most people actually, of course, every ashram is actually properly practiced is will go back to Godhead. But most people nowadays they can relate to like sannyasis and monks. So when they see like husband, wife, children, they like they consider okay, this is something related. Maybe then they can become brahmacharis down the road. But the point is, grihe tako, vane tako, sadahari bolo tako. If you're not able to do so many things, if we can do it, all these yagnas and giving charity and living strict Vedic life according to like health principle, according to Ayurveda, you all have the luxury of land. Nowadays, where can you find land? There is no land. It's all poisoned by Roundup. Anywhere you go, it's all like LED lights and asbestos, and internet energy, and it's like the whole thing is like poison. Living in cardboard. The apartments are like cardboard, like a cubicle. You jump into your car, which is like a little cubicle. Go to your work, it's like a little cubicle. Can't even feel the sunshine. It's all air conditioned and tinted, and there's no food. There's no real food. You go down to the cafeteria, it's like $12 for an artificial smoothie. It's horrible. Anyway, if we can follow this simplified process of chanting all our rounds and reading Prabhupada book, that's where we get the energy from. That's where all the energy is invested in Prabhupada books and purports and lectures. And this way we can be dear to our spiritual master, and automatically our enthusiasm grows when we keep it dry, when we stay in the fire, the enthusiasm shows. And this way, any ashram, we can be inspired and inspiring, and people will, like Maharaj was saying in the talks the other day, that even if we can bring few people to Krishna consciousness, it's glorious. Some quality people. Like I met Krishna Surya in Atlanta. He was minding his own business. Now he's living in a farm and doing so much service. Like who could have imagined, the turn of events. So we don't know who we're going to meet and how they're going to contribute to the society. All we can do is, like Prabhupada told Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, do the best and Krishna will do the rest. So we're very fortunate to have the essence of the Vedic culture and philosophy in the form of the Sankirtan moment. So I'll stop here. If anybody have any questions or thoughts or comments. Yes, Prabhu.
Um, I don't know if they can hear me from my system. Yes. Um, I like how you spoke about the keto diet. Very relatable, even though some of us are not on that diet. But just relatable from the standpoint of like the reminder of don't cheat. Like don't cheat. You know, there's so many ways to cheat any practice that we're in, whether we're trying to exercise consistently or do anything consistently. There's so many loopholes that we can find when we live in a society where we're trained to find loopholes and the quickest way to do something. So I was wondering, in your experience as a devotee and preaching bhakti and cultivating devotees, what are the most common ways you have seen people cheat? And I'm asking this just to so that we in this room have our own uh, uh, vision and eyes set out so that we know that we're avoiding certain goals. But yeah, are there any commonalities you've seen people cheat the bhakti practice?
Yeah, Krishna Surya Prabhu is asking for my example in the keto diet, don't cheat. So Prabhu is asking, like, when in my experience, like, what kind of cheating people do when they come to Krishna consciousness. Well, the thing is, we come from a very turbulent society. We're just like product, like one Mataji was explaining the other day, to come from this materialistic society into spiritual life, we have issues like trust issues. See, one of the most important things in spiritual development is love and trust. So, without that, there is no question of spiritual development. There has to be someone that we trust, we can reveal our mind no matter what it is. So, the problem is, uh, if even as preachers, if we are like fanatical and holier than thou, and like always, you know, think like I'm superior, that kind of a mood, then it's hard for the new people to reveal their mind. Either that or from past traumas, then people don't share their struggle. They kind of keep it to themselves, which is actually a bad thing for spiritual development. Because one of the things Rupa Goswami advises, reveal your mind in confidence. Like, so who was explaining? Dasya Prem was explaining the other day that Guru Maharaj said to him, in GPS, you have to share your location for the GPS to guide you from that point onwards. So the spiritual master can only guide you if you let them know where you're at. It's like, you're going in the shower, but you won't open the armpit or something. Like you won't scrub. Like, you got to be like free, like scrub and let the water wash off every part of the body.
Mm.
It's like sometimes imagine you have a little garden and then you have a little section and you say to Krishna, You can have all this garden, Krishna, but don't touch this little patch. It's mine, like don't. So we have that kind of approach in spiritual life. Like okay, this is my business. It's none of your business, no matter who you are. Devotees always come to me, classic. It's like, I haven't talked to Guru Maharaj about this, Prabhu, and I don't think he will understand, but I wanted to get your opinion on such and such situation I'm in. I'm like, how do you think that he won't understand and I will understand? It's just basically you want somebody that'll agree with you. Like you want to be in Maya and you find the ones that are in Maya, and then you can be good friends. But sometimes we need that surgical operation to get out of them. So, you know, the vices we have, our attachment we have, it's like they go from like really subtle to gross. But if we are, I mean, in a sense, instead of analyzing what the fall down is, if the devotees share the fall down, just by revealing our difficulties to the spiritual master, the difficulties actually mysteriously go away. And we give him an opportunity to guide us. One time one devotee asked, Maharaj, like I come back from work and I'm really stressed and I wanted to watch Netflix at night. And Maharaj just really loudly he said in the microphone, night time is for sleeping. And even though it was not my question, it just like stayed with me. Like I'm really tired. I want to open up something and scroll for a few minutes. And then night time is for resting your body for Krishna. So small things too, like even one senior Mataji, she had very saintly person, but she had a habit of smoking back then when she first met Maharaj. So Maharaj said to her, give me the pack of cigarettes. Can you imagine? Said, give me the pack of cigarettes, and every time you feel like smoking, you come and get one from me. She never smoked after that. And Maharaj is so kind. Devamrit Maharaj, she even got her like licorice root and other things to chew on when she feels this urge for the taste of tobacco. So sometimes when we let the senior devotees know our struggles, we can be helped. But if we don't, then we trust more Maya. And also the senior devotees have to behave in a way that the people can trust us. It goes both ways. Because back in the day, one devotee told another during Prabhupada time his struggle, and the devotee spoke about it in the Srimad Bhagavatam class, including his name and all the detail. And the devotee, out of embarrassment, didn't come back, and Prabhupada said, you destroyed his spiritual life. So nowadays, unfortunately, devotees would go to a counselor and reveal the mind because, many times you share your mind to another devotee and they just share it all over the place. So it goes both ways. We got to have like sense control to help. Was there anything else? Is that okay, bro?
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything else to on the internet?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I thank you for a wonderful class. A lot of great points there. I just wanted to add one thing that with regards to revealing one's mind to the spiritual master, there are um, there are certain circumstances under which it becomes inappropriate. When the spiritual master is a sannyasi, there are some things that are inappropriate to discuss with a sannyasi. So for householders mm, well, householders in particular, some aspects of household life, um, issues involving sex life and so on are generally inappropriate to discuss with a sannyasi. And many sannyasi gurus will have strict rules about these things. They will direct their disciples to another householder devotee, someone who is senior to field their questions and help them along, so that they don't have to get involved in such things. In the early days of the movement, Srila Prabhupada would deal with everything because there was no one but him to approach. But there was a point at which he stopped dealing with certain things. Early in the movement, he himself performed marriages, for example, and then there was a point at which he stopped performing marriages and he delegated that responsibility to other devotees because it's not the business of a sannyasi. And so Srila Prabhupada would answer all kinds of questions because there was no one else but him to approach about it. But in the present context, many of our sannyasi gurus, either they will expressly state that which types of things they do not want to have to address. Um, Sometimes they may not do that, and then awkward situations arise. But generally, the principle of revealing one's mind, of course, is very, very important, and you have to have somebody that you can go to. Some devotees have another problem, which is that their guru has so many disciples that it's very difficult to get his time. They may not have the opportunity to speak with him, or even in writing. There are some gurus who receive actually hundreds of letters per day, and it becomes impossible to deal with all of the questions. So there also it becomes important sometimes to have other individuals, trusted individuals, um, more advanced individuals who can help you along. Um, but trust very important, and the trust should not be violated. That's the meaning of revealing one's mind in confidence that whatever is said is not divulged, so that an individual will feel trusting and free to reveal even their deepest, darkest secrets. Um, I personally, I have a strict policy. I do not repeat anything that anyone says to me, not even to their guru. Um, Neither the temple president nor the guru will ever hear from me what their disciple has said to me, unless they give me permission to say those things. Um, so in that way they'll feel free to speak, and then it becomes possible to help an individual through all kinds of difficulties. Otherwise, if it's kept bottled up, then it festers and grows and impedes one's progress. It's necessary to expose these things somehow to someone to help disentangle the mess. Thank you very much. It's delightful to hear you describe all these different events in the early days of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada's dealings, and so on. It's wonderful to hear that. For me, it's a reminder because I was there. I remember seeing Gopal Krishna for example, coming to the temple every morning in his business suit. Um, I remember doing life membership in India and trying to um, persuade affluent householders to contribute to our movement. All these different things I experienced, and yeah, at least I can speak for myself. I forget about these things and I take them for granted. I don't think about them. Um, it's but when I hear them described by younger devotees and their appreciations, it gives new life to those experiences. I then see them in a way that I never saw them before. It's a whole different experience. Um, I have a greater appreciation, for the things that I just took for granted. Um, so I thank you very much. We're out of time. Thanks again.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you for your comments. That's very nice. Yes, many temples and senior devotees have set up mentor system nowadays, where we approach our mentor, not directly our spiritual master, because as you said many times, they're bombarded with so many disciples and emails, and sometimes the sannyasis they can answer some of the grihastha questions. And it's an honor to have you amongst us. Like you're one of the apostles, like Srila Prabhupada disciple walking amongst us, and like live live example of the history. So honored and blessed to have your approval and feedback for the class. Thank you, Prabhu. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhu. Great, yes.
Puja Damodar ki.